Back in Chapter 1, we said value for money is the real question a PPP has to answer, and promised to build it out properly here. A project can be fully feasible, as covered last lesson, and still be the wrong delivery model. This lesson is about the tool that actually answers that, the Public Sector Comparator. The Public Sector Comparator, or PSC, is a cost estimate of what the same project would cost if the government delivered it through traditional procurement, including the risk the government would carry in that scenario. That number gets compared against the actual or projected cost of delivering it as a PPP, including the risk the government still carries there. Value for money is the gap between the two, once both are calculated on the same basis. Building a PSC takes three components: the raw project cost, what the government would actually spend to design, build, and operate it directly; a competitive neutrality adjustment, removing unfair cost advantages the public sector has purely from being government, like tax exemptions, so the comparison is fair; and transferable risk, priced in monetary terms, the same risks covered back in Chapter 1, now given an actual number, instead of just being named. Here's the part that's genuinely difficult and worth naming directly. Pricing risk in monetary terms is not simple arithmetic. It requires real judgment about probability and impact. Skip it, or do it carelessly, and the PSC quietly favors whichever option, public or private, happens to look better once risk is left out. That's exactly how PPPs get approved for the wrong reasons, not because they were bad deals, but because the comparison was never done properly. Once both numbers exist on a comparable basis, the decision rule is straightforward. If the risk-adjusted PPP cost comes in below the public sector comparator, the PPP delivers value for money, proceed. If it comes in above, traditional procurement is the better option, even if the PPP still looks appealing on financing terms alone. A full quantitative PSC isn't the only route. Many frameworks, including Guidance CP3P draws on, also allow a qualitative value for money assessment for projects where reliable cost and risk data is hard to build, weighing the same factors in structured judgment rather than a single number. The principle stays identical either way. Don't choose a PPP just because it's available. Choose it because it's demonstrably better than the alternative. Quick recap. The Public Sector Comparator estimates what traditional procurement would cost, risk-adjusted, and compares it against the risk-adjusted PPP cost. Pricing risk properly is the hardest and most important part of the exercise, and where a full quantitative PSC isn't practical, a structured qualitative assessment applies the same logic. Chapter 5 is next, structuring the actual tender and contract once a project has cleared value for money. That's Chapter 4. Subscribe to follow the rest of the course.